It is a very good afternoon to everybody tuned in to the Real Talk Show today. On a special Friday, I'd like to warmly welcome you to another special discussion on the myth and misconception around contraceptive. Today, we are joined by Josephat Ziambo, all the way from Kapata Clinic, clinical officer over there, and also Blessings Walia, who's joining us today, surprisingly, all the way from Mombasa, who is a student at the University of Zambia, and not forgetting our very own Miranda Ziva, who is a senior programs officer at the Youth Platform, as well as a project officer for the Youth Community Advocacy Project. My name is George Mkwita, and welcome to the show. Now, as we unpack common beliefs and misinformation, would like to share accurate information on the show today. By the way, this episode is brought to you with the support of Amplify Change, compliments of the Be Safe campaign under the Youth Community Advocacy Project. Now, we did ask for young people to share their myths and misconceptions around contraceptives, family planning. And I'd like to play a video, just a short clip. Bear with us, just a short clip, so that we get into the discussion. We hear from the young people themselves what they think about contraceptives.
Pregnancies or unplanned pregnancies rather. So we have misconceptions, the community among us young people and also community members, which are the usage of contraceptives can affect your fertility, meaning your chances of being pregnant or having babies later in the future if you start using the family planning methods. And also the issue of having irregular menstrual cycles, as well as excessive bleeding when you use contraceptives. And I'm also going to talk about the methods that we have. So we have pills, we have patches, we have injections, etc. And not only that, the advantages of family planning methods is that it can control how you want to have your kids, like when you want to have kids. It's more like a time plan on how you're going to have kids. And those are the advantages of family planning methods to avoid unplanned pregnancies.
I'm Miriam Pasi. I'm from Kuni. This is my village, and I'm here to talk about the family planning. Family planning is a good thing. Others think it's a bad way because they say that if you have it for so long, you're going to stop having children. But the useful information is that family planning never stops anyone from having their children. It's a good way of having planning on how to have children. Yes. And I've also heard many people say that family planning makes people to become fat, and others say that you become thin and you have to be bleeding for so long, and that is the wrong information.
My name is Blessings Chileshe from Kawi village. A lot of people from our village, they say family planning has got a lot of effects, such as when you continuously use family planning, some they say you'll be barren, others they say you'll never have kids again, others they say family planning causes effects such that they'll be having pains in their abdominals, and others they just say that family planning it's not part of their traditions, so they don't have need of using family planning. For me, what I can encourage the communities about family planning is that it's very useful for them, because young people in our communities, they are getting teenage pregnancies because they lack a lot of information and they can't manage to abstain, of which they are supposed to be using family planning that can help them to build up their future.
My name is Frida Piri from Livingstone, and I want to tell you what I've heard about family planning. So I heard rumors saying family planning makes you gain weight, makes you lose weight. Others say family planning makes them get sick, lose appetite, and so forth. Others say family planning makes them not have children. It blocks their tube to have children. And I think that's all I've heard about family planning in our communities.
My name is Precious Lokam from Kavuyo. Yeah, I'm here to tell some of the disinformation people talks about family planning. Some says that family planning, if you take it for too long, you will stop giving birth. Like, for example, like for Depo, those people who take Depo for a long time, some they menstruation, and for such they think like after some time they will stop giving birth. So some things like maybe family planning, some of the causes like maybe dairy and some other things. But the correct information for family planning is that family planning doesn't bring problems to us. It's just time, and some of these things happens due to change of environments, diet, and some other things. So like for depo it's normal, like maybe if you take it like for 6 months, then after some time even if you stop you can still not get pregnant for a short period of time. But like for Sayana, yeah, immediately, like maybe after 7 days after taking it, some they even get pregnant. So the best for Sayana, the best prevention is it starts working after 7 days. And so for family planning, it's just safe. Let's just practice it to save our lives and our budgets.
All right. I like the last part, to save our lives and our budgets. Mr. Ziambo, I hope you did take note of what has been brought out by the young people. But now, as you react to that video clip, I would like you to also respond to this one, because this is a view that is shared within our community, where the belief is that using hormonal contraceptives will make a woman infertile in the long run, or that she will struggle to conceive after stopping them. Now, Mr. Ziamba, I'd like you to give us the accurate information. If a patient came to you to see you with this information, to say they have these concerns, what accurate information can you share to reassure them about their future fertility, and just to simply explain the benefits and the surroundings, issues to do with family planning that the community is really, really misrepresenting it? Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Mr. George. I've taken note of what almost every adolescent was bringing out as a concern. But before I explain that, I would want us first to understand what are these contraceptives are. What do they contain? Okay, so I would say we have two types of contraceptions. We have hormonal contraceptions as well as non-hormonal contraceptions. So the whole idea about contraceptions is it's just the use of hormones. That's one thing we should understand. It's just the use of hormones. Hormones, they play into different mechanisms, I would say that. So it is not really a drug that's supposed to cure you from any kind of a disease. No, it's a hormone which has been made into these pills like contraceptives. So, like for the first, I got your question. You said the misinformation about this contraception, especially regarding to infertility. I think that's the common that I heard was coming out from the adolescents. So, contraception doesn't cause any infertility, but what does it do? There are certain contraceptives like Depo. I think I heard someone was trying to explain about Depo. I also explain about Depo. What really happens is there is no infertility after you use such, but there is only a delay of your normal menstrual period coming. Okay, I hope that is clear. There is no cause of infertility when you use contraceptions, but there's just a delay. So others, they take like 1 to 3 cycle, like your period cycle, for it to come into your regular normal periods. Depo takes about 12 months for it to come into your normal cycle your menstrual periods. I also heard someone saying that these contraceptions, they make someone fat. Okay, so mostly about this, what I'll explain is it, like I said earlier, there are types. Okay, so under hormonal, we have the combined one, which is the estrogen and progesterone. Then we also have one which is progesterone only. So depending on which one you are taking, no wonder what I've come to notice about this whole misconception about contraceptives is information. Information. I think we've not done so much about giving this information to young people. I would say that, or first confess that we've not given so much information about this contraception. Even the issue of bleeding. Even the issue of bleeding, we've not talked so much about it, giving them that information. But thank you so much for this platform. I'll try and explain what really happens. Yes. So for those people that say if you take contraceptions in general, you're going to gain weight. So it's not every contraception which can make you gain weight. For instance, I'll talk about IUD. IUD on itself, if you're using IUD, you have got no interaction with you becoming fat or rather having prolonged periods, because that one is a non-hormonal contraception. If we also talk about condoms as well, they can't cause you gaining fat. But I'll talk of progesterone only. So what usually happens with that hormone, progesterone only, that progesterone, it deposits it deposits fats into tissues. So you find, yes, so you find like for especially progesterone only. I also talk about its mechanism of action. So what it does, it makes the cervix thick, so that as this intercourse have been occurred, or rather, if that man releases, there is little or no of those sperms to go through a cervix. Okay, so it will make the cervix to be thick, so that no sperms can go through the cervix to go and do what? Fertilize. So its mechanism is that it deposits fat. It deposits fat into tissues. So no wonder it's not everyone who gains weight. Of course, others they do, according to their makeup, but others they don't. And it's not like when you gain that weight, you'll be like that forever. No.
Okay, so you did mention IUDs. Let's talk about implants here.
Sure.
From picking up from the IUD that you did mention, there's a widespread idea within the community that IUD move around the body or get lost intentionally, causing serious health problems. Can you explain to us what actually happens when these methods are inserted, and what are the real facts about their safety and placement within a body?
Okay, thank you so much for that, Mr. George. So, like we all know, these contraceptions they are different, and also their intake is different. Others they are being taken orally, others are being injected, others are being inserted, and others are being planted. Okay, so all these drugs, all these contraception were taken and they were scrutinized. Okay, and the most all these areas that I've mentioned that we usually like, women usually take these contraceptions. Were taken note. So I'll give an example of implanon. Okay, so that implanon, you can't insert it vaginally. You can't. That one needs to be in a muscle where there is what thick, like somewhere here. I'll just give an example, like somewhere here. So
yes.
what usually happens is if that implant is being placed under your skin, there is no possibility that it can move. Okay, because it's under the skin. It's not in a vein or in an artery. The only thing that can move around your body is if they enter through your vein or your artery, because there is circulation. But anything that stays in your muscle stays in your muscle. Because I'll give an example. I've been one of those people who has been giving, rather planting this implant and also removing. So the example that I will say is, I remember that was in my small, I had put this implant. I think that was for 3 years. Then she came later on to remove. The only thing that you're going to find is that implant, when it stays for a long time, it sticks to the muscles.
Okay.
It doesn't even move. There's no possibility of moving. It sticks to the muscle. So as you are moving, you're supposed to be careful. Otherwise, it gets, I would say, it gets imaged with the skin.
Okay.
Yes. So there is no possibility whatsoever that when you are given an implant, or rather any IUD, to say it will start moving around your body. No. It doesn't work like that.
Thank you. Well put. So you did mention IUDs, you've addressed that. You also mentioned condoms. So now my next question is that some young men in our community believe that using condom reduces the sexual pleasure, and therefore it is the responsibility of a woman to manage family planning. Now, as a clinical officer, how would you address these perspectives, emphasizing the shared responsibility in family planning and the dual protection that condoms offer against both pregnancies as well as STIs?
All right. Thank you so much. So I'll start with the reduced libido that you mentioned earlier on. To say using a condom can reduce your sex appetite.
Yes.
Actually, it's not true. Because yes, I'll explain it in this way. If you are sexually active, let's say you've planned to say you're going to have sex today, or I would say these adolescents, they'll plan to say they're going to have sex today. So with that, sex is first start from your mind. And then when you use the condom, that act is that there and then. There is no chemical interaction in your system for it to alter your sexual appetite. That's one thing these young people need to know. All you did was you had to take that condom and you had to put it on. And as you're having that sex, and I would say this is where we get it all wrong. Even just us as young men, and even just as adolescents, we think pleasure, or rather the enjoyment, is having unprotected sex. No, you can still enjoy even by using a condom. Yes. Then when it comes to shared responsibility, when it comes to family planning, it's not just a responsibility of the woman to actually go on with the family planning. It's supposed to be a couple. It's supposed to sit together as a couple to say, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we are planning to do. So if you do that, it should also be a man's responsibility as well. In as much as it is a woman's responsibility when it comes to these pills, because we know to say Men, they don't take these contraceptives, like the oral ones and everything. Those ones, they're meant for women. But as a man as well, you can also use a condom, because it's one of the contraception. It's one of the methods that we use for contraception. So you can use a condom as well as a man if you don't want or rather, if you want to have a good family planning. So it is not just a responsibility of a woman, because I hear even just at my facility, you find maybe you are running out of certain commodities when it comes to contraceptives. Then you say, okay, you can take these condoms. You're trying to give this woman, and she'll just there and then just tell you to say, no, my husband cannot allow me to get condoms. Then I'll be wondering to say, but this is one method that we use as a way of contraception. Then I'll try and educate that woman at just there and then to say, if you are not on DEPO, you are not on Cyan, you are not on any other type, you can still plan for your family by using a condom. By using a condom where you involve your partner. Sure.
All right, thank you so much, Josephat Ziambo, joining us all the way from Kapata in Chipata. I must mention, Josephat, that 9 years ago, next month on the 23rd, my son was actually born in Chipata 9 years ago. So what a great facility. Chipata, Kapata.
Thank you so much.
What a
Chipata,
great facility.
Kapata.
Yes. So I'll be getting back to you shortly. Allow me to chat briefly with Blessings Walia, a student at the University of Zambia, joining us all the way from Mombasa. Blessings, welcome to the show once more. Hello, Blessings. How are you? So you are muted, Blessings. Your mic is muted. All right, as Blessings is still trying to sort out a mic, I must mention that this show is brought to you with the compliments or with the support of Amplify Change, compliments of the Be Safe campaign under the Youth Community Advocacy Project. If you just joined us, welcome to the show. Today's topic is myth and misconceptions around contraceptives. Please keep sending in your questions via the comment sections, and let's have a great chat right here. Blessings, are you there? Okay, we'll get back to you, Blessings. Miranda Ziva, welcome to the show. And of course, for those that are just joining us for the first time, allow me to introduce Miranda Ziva. Miranda is a Senior Programs Officer at the Youth Platform and Project Officer for the Youth Community Advocacy Project. Miranda, how are you? And welcome to the show.
I'm good, George. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on this show.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. So Miranda, as Project Officer of the Youth Community Advocacy Project, what are some of the most persistent or challenging myths and misconceptions about family planning that you have encountered among adolescents and young people in the communities that you work with?
Okay. I'm really glad that most of the myths that we have been experiencing in the community and in the schools where we have been going have actually been addressed. Mostly they are the likes of contraceptions causing barrenness and delaying conception, and also the young weights coming to us and asking, can I access these contraceptives? Kapena ningaineku, or someone will come and tell you, I think nifuna losing a weight, nifuna yamine ingani, the one that will help me to actually lose weight. So we've had a lot of young people coming in with such needs. Yeah. So most of them have actually been addressed, and yeah, I'm glad they've been addressed.
Okay. So your project focuses on encouraging uptake among adolescents and young people, or those who are sexually active, encouraging uptake of contraceptives. What are some of the, well, let me phrase it like this, to say you're encouraging uptake of family planning among sexually active young people to avoid teen pregnancies, isn't it? And what are some of the, I would say, what are some of the issues that have come up in some of these interactions that you've had with these young people with regards to how they receive the message? And what effective strategies or approaches has your project found to sort of dispel away the myth and encourage the consistent use of family planning methods among young people?
All right. So when it comes to some of the issues, the main issues that have been coming out around the myths that people have on contraceptive access. So some of the people will talk about how difficult it is for them to conceive after accessing the contraceptives, and some of them would actually tell you this that you are doing is encouraging people to indulge in sexual activities, and some would tell you contraceptives are actually meant for people who are promiscuous and those people that are careless about their lives. So it's about us ensuring that we provide the accurate information to young people. We provide them with information on why they should access contraceptives, especially if they are sexually active. So that is the major thing that we have done. We have done this through ensuring that we have interactive sessions with young people, and we make those sessions very interactive to the point where we have a healthcare provider available to dispel those myths, respond to the questions that young people have, and encourage them to ask as many questions as they are, and we ask that the questions come as raw as they can be. We make sure the questions are really simplified and young people are able to respond, provide recommendations on the types that they really prefer, and also ensuring that we have engaged a number of partners who are able to provide young people with different options of contraceptives. We are glad that through our interventions, we've had partners like Maristopes coming on board to provide the options that young people really want to access. We have also ensured that as we go into the community, we have the right healthcare providers who are youth-friendly and are able to help young people to access these services.
Okay, thank you. You spoke about the engaging partners. My next question to you is, how does your project engage with community leaders, the parents, and other key influencers within the communities when addressing sensitivities, topics like family planning, especially when it comes to parents? How do you engage parents, and how do you encourage them to allow their young girls to say, she can start family planning, so that they are supported, those young people? And dispelling the myth, of course, you did touch a little bit on this, but especially given the cultural and social context in which our society operates in, how do you navigate yourself with the involvement of key leaders like parents, community leaders, and other influential people in the community?
Okay, thank you so much. So I must say community gatekeepers are actually key to the success of this project. And looking at the areas where we have been working in this on this project. So we have reached out to religious and community leaders who have really helped in ensuring that this information is reaching their communities. So when it comes to the religious leaders, we have sensitized them. We have been sensitizing a number of them on the effect of unplanned pregnancies within their communities. Some of these effects could be the increase in poverty levels among their communities. We've also sensitized them about how unplanned pregnancy increase the numbers of unsafe abortions being done within their communities. And you see, in most of these communities, you find that this is actually a taboo. And in the end, that young person or that woman that finds themselves doing an unsafe abortion becomes a very, they get stigmatized in their community. So we have really ensured that as we go into these communities, we encourage the leaders to encourage their community members to access contraceptives for the sake of ensuring that the community is safe and is able to manage their children as according to what their budgets can allow. I'm really glad that I also heard that from one of the young people in the communities that we have been going to. When it comes to religious leaders, we have also reached out to religious leaders to spread this message in their churches. So we have been able to reach out to even the parents through their churches. And you see that as we provide this accurate information, we have been getting response from the parents themselves who are coming to us and ensuring that as we bring out this information to the young people, we do not encourage them to have sex and things like that. But we've had some parents that have actually come forth and say, I think I really need your help. The information you're providing is helpful. This is also going to help me help my community. And we have also worked a lot with neighborhood health committee members who have the community at the palm of their hands, and they've been able to help us navigate their communities so well, such that we have reached out to the hard to reach areas and the hotspots when it comes to unintended pregnancies, and where we can find most of the people that really need to access contraceptives so that we reduce on the effects that it has, that unintended pregnancies have on the communities. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miranda, for that elaborate response. Dear viewers, if you just joined us, welcome to the Real Talk Show. Today we are talking about the myth and misconceptions around contraceptives, or in short, family planning. Blessings, Wally, all the way from Mombasa. How are you? Are you able to? Oh, so glad you're able to join us once more. How's Mombasa today? Maybe let me start by that. I need to check. I thought Zambia was the only one that had issues with internet. I bet you missed this. Hi, Blessings. Okay. We really wanted to hear Blessings' view on this issue because she is a student at the University of Zambia and wanted to get a campus perspective on this issue, what young people at the University of Zambia think and the issues that they go through, their views on the contraceptives. So allow me to get back to you, Mr. Ziambo. Yes. So we were talking about condoms and how young people should be, or young men should also be responsible and step up in terms of using condoms as a number one contraceptive to prevent pregnancies as well as STIs and anything associated with that. Now, my question is, we often hear concerns that hormonal birth control causes significant weight, which was already addressed, but then severe mood swings, leading many women to avoid them. Now, while there are some side effects, or some side effects can occur, how do you console patients on managing potential side effects? Because it depends with people's reaction and blood, isn't it? And what
Sure.
what evidence-based information can you provide regarding the prevalence?
Hello? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. George. Okay. So I'll start by answering your question. How can they manage these side effects? So we know to say there are some conditions. I would say some hormonal condition. I'll talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the major cause of these these related side effects of contraception, like irregular menses, um, um, having prolonged bleedings, etc. So what I would say is what these young people need to know first is the information regarding to these contraceptives first. Then the second one is, even before you start getting these contraceptions, first you also need to know your well-being as a person. You also need to know your well-being, because you might mistakenly take, like for instance, polycystic ovarian syndrome as a side effect of contraception. And other side effects that we try to avoid. Why I'm saying you should know your well-being first, because we don't administer, or rather we don't give certain contraceptives to someone who has hypertension. We don't give certain drugs to someone those who have liver problems, because of the interaction of these. Remember, like I said earlier, these contraceptives are hormones. There's nothing more to them. Like maybe they're supposed to cause anything. It's just hormones. The whole play is about hormones. So before someone goes and take this family pill, this injectable, like I said earlier, first you need to know your well-being. Of course, we have like the common side effects that you're going to find is like you said earlier, is dizziness, is headache. Others even if you don't have BP, you find your BP will be a little bit raised. But in time, as you experience this, others they start spotting. But in time, as you start, maybe I would say after a month, all those side effects, because they are not major, those are minor, they subside. So the message I would say is, or I'll put here is, before you even start this contraception, first you need to know the well-being. It's very much important. And not to that, to say all these contraception, they've got their side effects. I would say every drug has got its side effects, but those side effects, they differ. Okay, we have those ones, the minor ones and the major ones. So like I said, regarding to contraceptions, we have minor side effects, which I mentioned: dizziness, you're going to have headache, others they're going to spotting, but all those side effects, they subside as time goes by. But we have major ones that can cause, like if you're not aware of your condition, if you have condition like PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, even after taking those drugs, when their function subside, that condition is going to emerge, because even in this condition, actually, let me mention this, even in this condition that I'm talking about, that I'm bringing about, the polycystic ovarian syndrome, the drug that we give is oral combined contraceptives. That's the drug for this condition. So you find if you are taking those contraceptives, you find that condition is not going to emerge, rather to show its symptoms, because you are taking these pills, and because we use these pills to cure certain conditions, you find its side effects, its symptoms is going to to be suppressed. But as that contraceptive finishes, you find those side effects, they will emerge.
Okay.
I hope I've tried and explained stressed on that one.
Yes, you have definitely explained that quite well. And I think this is what is very important to ensure that people know what side effects come with certain types of contraceptives and how to manage these side effects. And side effects are actually among the barriers that we experience in the communities as we go to sensitize people on contraceptives and encourage them to access services. As a result of that, we also experience some resistance from certain community members. Some of this resistance is simply because some people don't understand what the interventions are trying to achieve. And in some certain setups, we find religious setups where there are certain doctrines that don't allow people to access contraceptives. And we also have certain, I'm sure you've experienced that as well. And we also have some cultural norms that make people in their communities use other means such as roots and the like. And Mr. Ziambo, I'd really like to find out from you, as we know, there are certain beliefs that just ask people to use certain remedies, and others just ask them to practice certain to do certain practices to prevent pregnancies. Some of them we have heard in some communities, they are told to jump so that they can prevent pregnancy immediately after having sexual intercourse. Do you really think this works? And how effective are these practices as compared to modern contraceptives? And what do you think is the risk of people in the communities associating or relying on such practices, which are usually unproven methods? What do you think? Do you really think this is helpful? And what do you think are the risks of people relying on such practices in their communities?
All right, thank you so much, Milanda. So I don't know much about the culture and some of this custom, how they do it, but I've also heard to say others, they are being given herbs, to say if you take these herbs, definitely you're not going to pregnant. Even the example that you gave, others, they say you jump, you do. So all these things, like what we're talking about, these things have been proven by the World Health Organization. It has been proved by also our Zambian board to be taken. I'll just put it in general, like all drugs. There are a lot of things that you're supposed to put in consideration, Miranda. Issues to do with the dosage to start with, how these herbs work, because Vanamusonda, yes, from the community will tell you to say, if you take these roots, if you take that root, when you take it, even if you have whatever sex that you're going to have, you're not going to get pregnant. But we should know to say, do they really understand what mechanism of those roots are happening in that young lady? Okay. Also, I also talk about the toxicity of those drugs that they are taking, because certain conditions emerge because of these drugs that we take. These drugs which are not prescribed by the government. These drugs which are not recognized by the Minister of Health. So you find these young people also develop. I've had an example, rather an encounter, where the woman was actually encouraged to be taking these herbs to prevent pregnancy, even when she's pregnant, to give her those chances so that she can deliver fast. All these herb. So my point is, all these drugs are not prescribed, but in the end, that woman developed cervical cancer, because she was being told to take these drugs without any precaution taken. The dosage, which dosage are you taking? Is it because what I believe in, like we are talking about, every drug, remember, Miranda, every drug has got its side effect. In some drugs, we use their side effect to cure other conditions. Okay? So now you find this Wanamsonda in a community doesn't really understand the pathology of the herbs that she's giving to this young person. So in the end, you find those things don't even work, because even if in the long run, that adolescent develop cancer, or rather still they go back and get pregnant even after taking all those herbs. So what I would recommend is our contraception, the ones that have been prescribed, they are very much safe. They are very much safe. They don't cause fertility. They don't have any bad side effect that you might put it. If at all those side effects they might come with another condition. So I also urge the young people, to be familiar with the clinic, because others, they're not familiar with the clinic. They are scared because maybe they'll find an old lady who start asking a lot of questions. No, but why are you here? Why are you having this? But what we want, all in all, is these young people, they need to know their well-being, their health-wise. So I wouldn't say the traditional ones, the custom ones, they're 100%. No. I've never seen those things happening, but I've seen these contraceptives, like the ones that we're talking about, the hormonal contraceptive, working in people and without giving them any side effect. And especially if you follow also the guidelines. If you come to the facility, if you see anything wrong with you, you rush to the clinic. We are going to explain these things to you. Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. I see our host has dropped off. And just to wrap up our show, I think this has really been an insightful conversation. And just to mention that this doesn't end here. We have a number of interventions within the communities where we are working from. We have different projects apart from the YCAP project. We have in Chipata, we have the YLAP, youth-led advocacy project, which we are implementing, and we have a lot of spaces where young people can access this information. So from Chipata, where Mr. Ziambo is coming from, you can still be able to access this information through him at Kapata Clinic. We have other healthcare providers available for you at Namseche Clinic, Mchini, Chipata Central Hospital, and several other facilities where you can be able to reach and access this information, not forgetting Chipata Trades Clinic. So apart from Chipata, we are working in Kabwe, where we have Mahatma Gandhi Clinic. We have we are working from Mahatma Gandhi Clinic and Makurulu Clinic in Kabwe, and Kitwe we are at Chimwemo Clinic and Bulangidiro Clinic. And for Kasama, we are at Location Clinic and Chisenga Clinic. So please reach out to these facilities and be able to get the accurate information that you need, ask questions. And if you don't feel so free to ask any healthcare provider there, you can ask for a YLAP, anyone on the YLAP project, on the YCAP project or the YLAP project, and they'll be able to assist you. Or you can simply go to the youth-friendly space and be able to ask this information. And just to appreciate the support that we are getting from the healthcare providers who are supporting us on this project. We have a number of successes recorded on this project through the interventions that we have been implementing, and we have had a number of healthcare providers coming in to share their actual contacts with the personal contacts with the students in the institutions, and these students have been able to access information. So this is just an encouragement to young people not to shun away from our activities, because there you get access to certain information that other people may not be privy to, like the contacts of healthcare providers, for example, who are able to assist you to access services with ease. So please continue tuning into this live show and also continue engaging with us through our various interventions that we are having in the community. So this is Miranda Ziva coming to you from the youth platform, and thank you very much everyone for joining this show.